Why do religions succeed? In 1996, the sociologist Rodney Stark from Baylor University, actually he was at Washington University, I think at the time of his study, put forward a theoretical model of religious innovation to help explain why new religious movements succeed. And to his disappointment, the application of the model received little attention from researchers, in spite of it being favorably reviewed in the literature. So after 9 years of applying the theory, he revisited it in light of his own research. The theory is summarized in the following 10 propositions. So according to Stark, predictions of success of new religious movements can be determined by the degree to which the 10 propositions are true about the group. The first proposition is that a new religious movement will be predicted to have success based on the extent to which it retains cultural continuity, or as Stark puts it, cultural capital. This cultural capital, according to Stark, results from an individual's socialization and education, meaning that's the capital in a particular culture. And so Stark states that religious movements will spread more readily to the extent that they build upon the familiar. In other words, they grow to the extent that they utilize an individual's cultural capital, thus preventing a complete discontinuity between the culture of the new religious movement and that of the potential adherent to the new religious movement. Second proposition, the success of a new religious movement is likely to the extent that its doctrines are non-empirical. So according to Stark, religious movements have the advantage of focusing on rewards or punishments that are beyond empirical evidence. Something like salvation, the eternal reward, and so on. However, when religious movements make predictions, such as in 1975 when the Jehovah's Witnesses predicted the end of the world, something that's empirically verifiable, the failure of this fulfillment is harmful to the religious movements. So the second point is that the doctrines are non-empirical, not something that can be verified by observable phenomena. Third, success can be predicted by the extent to which a new religious movement maintains a medium tension with society. And so Stark defines this medium tension as a substantial sense of difference that maintains a balance between conformity to the society and deviance from the society. In other words, it's the degree to which a new religious movement is strict in its maintenance of morality compared to mainline society. According to Stark, high demands for commitment to a religious group strengthen the group in two ways. One way is that the membership will be limited to those who are willing to make the commitment. And secondly, a member participation is greater due to increased rewards for the commitment. The fourth factor for predicting the success of a new religious movement is the extent to which it has a legitimate leadership with adequate authority. For authority to be adequate, it must be defined doctrinally. Likewise, it must include members as participants in the authority structure. The fifth proposition Stark postulates is that the ability of a new religious movement to mobilize adherents is crucial to its success as a movement. So Stark states, quote, "To act on behalf of the collective interests expressed in the organization is this ability to for adherents to be mobilized to the movement or to the cause. And this will directly contribute to the prediction of whether or not that movement will be successful." The sixth contributing factor to the success of new religious movements is the extent to which they can sustain substantial growth through fertility, through reproducing disciples, through procreation. And this indicates that a new religious movement, its need to attract and maintain an appropriate age and gender makeup younger, so that they can procreate male and female, so that procreation can continue. And this will contribute to the ongoing success of a religious movement. The seventh factor here, the proposition that Stark postulates, is a favorable ecology of new religious movements is important for it to grow as it contributes to their success. And what he means by this is that this is an environment that is religiously unregulated. It's comprised of weakened conventional faiths, and it gives the perception of success to the first generation of adherents. And these are all important factors in a favorable ecology for a religious movement to grow. So Stark suggests that individuals who are no longer active in a religious body will fill the ranks of new religious movements more so than those who are active. So those who are already committed to a religious group aren't necessarily going to leave that commitment in order to go to a new religious movement, but those that are maybe on the fence of that commitment to one group are more readily available to move to another religious group. So thus, there's a perception by members and attendees of the religious group where the participation is low, and when that happens, there'll be a high incidence of new religious movements. The eighth contributing factor to success of a new religious movement, according to Stark, is a dense social network. This social network serves to tie individuals to the movement by creating attachments within the group, as well as attachments with potential recruits to the religious movement. The attachments within the group, Stark suggests, are valuable exchanges of commodities and acts of tangible rewards. So this dense social network also implies the willingness of adherents to form relationships with those outside of the group. Stark states, quote, "People convert when their ties to members outweigh their ties to non-members. For most people, conversion consists of aligning their religious behavior with that of their friends," this sociological component to the conversion experience. Well, the ninth condition for predicting success is the ability of the new religious movement to maintain some level of strictness. So earlier, you recall that Stark phrased this condition as the ability to resist secularization by maintaining its traditional beliefs. The issue is whether or not a new religious movement will reduce its strictness based upon those who grew up in the movement. The risk in so doing is to the new converts. The new converts, to a certain degree, become converts based upon the strictness of a new religious movement, and thus the final condition for predicting success becomes essential, and that is the ability of a new religious movement to adequately socialize those who are born into the movement. Adequate socialization is understood in relation to minimizing defection and reducing the appeal of becoming less strict. And so these 10 propositions are summarized by Stark in the text that's just below this video.